Hello, my Jedi friends. Have you been waiting for a sign? Waiting for a sign. So let's talk about this today because I know quite a few of my friends that like to tap into synchronicities. Synchronicities when they send that message. Did you notice the time? Did you notice the time? Now, if that's you, that's completely normal. That's part of you that's a little bit shamanic because that's the shaman way, my friends. The shaman way. We tap into signs, we get symbols. The universe connects to us, it communicates with us through different means. And it's not always verbal communication from other people. Sometimes there's signs that come into your world. Do you tune into? Do you think, oh, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? And suddenly you'll have a little awareness. There might be something that tingles through your body. You might start to notice where it is. Well, different signs for different people. So let's talk about this phenomenon because part of us are creative, especially people that are tapped in. When I say tapped in, maybe you're a healer, maybe you're an empath, maybe you're open to the world, maybe you're a psychic, maybe you're somebody that notices things, maybe you're a trailblazer, maybe you're someone that actually does tracking for a living. I've met people that can listen to bird sounds and know when there's danger around or know what's going on. People that tune into nature, people that are lost on a path and start tuning into signs, people that realize that when all else fails, that it's you and your intuition. So, intuition, let's talk about that. So when intuition meets a difficult situation, or when you meet a difficult situation, you're left with intuition, and a lot of it is going to be tuning into things. And they may be tuning into things that you hadn't tuned into before. And this is a fascinating part of human psychology, that all of us are a little bit shamanic, some more than others. Some more than others. The 1111 Brigade, you see them everywhere, don't you? Oh, did you notice the time? Did you notice that? Did you notice that, my Jedi friends? What did you notice? Did it make a difference? How is it influencing your life? And these are real questions because for some people it's, well, is it just a number? Is it just you being silly? Or is there something to it? Now, even when you sit with this video watching it, you ask yourself, is there something to it? What made me click on this today? Why did I do this? What am I tuning into at the moment? And the fact is that if you're lost or in any way not quite sure about what's going on, this is the call to you to start using your intuition. Let me tell you a little story. So, back in the 90s, I went to work in an American summer camp. And somebody handed me this book and said, you've got to read it. It's called the Celestine Prophecy. And I thought, all right, we'll read that. We'll read it. And it's a story. And what it is about is somebody that was feeling lost on a life journey. And suddenly a friend turned up that they hadn't seen for ages and said, no, we found these new manuscripts in Peru. They've got ancient wisdom on them. And we're off to find them. We're on an adventure. And the whole concept, the first philosophy of it was there were these. The prophecy had different parts of it, and the first one was that people are feeling the change. People are feeling synchronicity and connectivity, or things are happening, and do we notice them? They're always happening, but are we aware of them? So there's this change happening in the world. And the second thing is that in the Celestine prophecies, there's no such thing as coincidence. Now, when I first started reading this, I thought, you know what? This sounds interesting. And just to wind up the people, it started off as a wind up. So the American guys that gave me this book, they were so into the Celestine prophecy that anything that happened, I was saying, it's Celestine. It's Celestine. It must have happened for a reason. I was like, look, it's Celestine. It's Celestine this. It's Celestine that. And I was thinking when people were asking me things, I was so go with the flow. Yes, it must be Celestine. Look, nothing's happening by chance. These people are arriving on our life for a reason. Yes, it's all happening. All of these things are happening. And I just amplified it. I just thought, you know what? They handed me this book. Let us be calm. Let me see if they love it or whether I'm going to be the biggest pain in their backside for me if they think I'm taking the piss out of Celestine. But I was quite convincing in the way that I showed up. And at first, I will tell you the truth, my Jedi friends, I really didn't believe much in it. I just thought it'd be a lot of fun because all of this group of people that handed me the Celestine Prophecy, they seemed to be into it. So I thought, let's go for it. Now, I spent a whole summer, well, I spent about half a summer after reading it with these guys having these Celestine debates. And then, genuinely, after the summer camp, now I'd worked in summer camps about 3 or 4 times before that. And I'd always fancied, because we were working on the east coast of the States, I'd always fancied a trip to the west. I'd always heard these things. The furthest I'd got across in my previous trips, I'd made it across to Dallas. I'd made it to Texas. We made it that far across, and then we ended up going down south and driving through to Florida, but I'd never made it to the West Coast. And all the people I thought I'd be traveling with, they all went their merry way. They all decided that they were all going off. And at the last day of camp, I had I had very few options. All I had was this Celestine book. And one of the guys that worked at the camp, a chap called Andy Marks. And Andy, if you see this video, if you find this, get back in touch. Guy called Andy Marks. I was driving back. He said, "You can come and stay with me for a few days." He said, "But I'm going off to I'm off to uni after a while. So, just come and chill with me for a few days. You can hang out while you work out what it is you want to do." So I went down there and I thought, do you know what? It's Celestine. And he said, "What was your plan?" And I said, "It'd be great to get to the West Coast." Now, I had no idea how that was going to happen or if it was going to happen or why it was going to happen. And he said, "Well, how are you going to do that?" And I was aware of this thing called Drive Away in the States. And what that was a place that you could go to where you could relocate. They relocate vehicles for people. So if someone in New York decided I'm moving to California, for example, they might want to fly. They might not want to drive their car there. So they would send it somewhere like Drive Away and they would relocate it for them. So people like me would go in the office and say, "Right, what vehicles have you got and where to go to?" Thinking on the off chance, maybe that somebody would want me to deliver a vehicle to the other side of the country. And I was talking to Andy as we were going down and talking about the Celestine, talking about getting across country. And he was moving from New Jersey to Vail in Colorado. And he just said, "Well, this Drive Away sounds interesting because I'm going to be paying to move all my stuff. I'm going to be flying out to Vail. I wonder if they got a vehicle that could fit all my stuff in it that would take us to Vail." And I thought, wow, Colorado, that's pretty west, or it's very close to the west. Wouldn't it be nice? But it seems like a very long shot. And so suddenly I'd gone from having no idea. I talked about Celestine. I talked about I wanted to get to the West Coast. I wanted to have an adventure. I told it to Andy. Andy said, "Well, I've got to move all my stuff out to Vail. Somehow I've got to get it there. I was going to fly." And so we went into the Drive Away in New Jersey and found they had a van to deliver to LA. And it was just big enough to fit all of Andy's stuff in. It was unbelievable. It really did. We crammed it just in exact size to fit all of his stuff in. And Andy said to me, "Well, we can go. I'll tell you what I'll do. Let's drive across the States. Let's drop my stuff in Vail, and then we'll go down to LA, and then I'll leave you there, and we'll go back." So we had the most amazing road trip um, through right the way across America, stopping at Vail to drop Andy's stuff off, stopping at various university campuses to run into a couple of our friends that we'd worked with on summer camps, having a right laugh. And not only that, one of my other friends, an English guy who'd gone off to Jamaica for after camp, I'd phoned him and found that he had nowhere to go and he was looking for a bit of an adventure. And he decided that he would fly over and join us at Phoenix. So when we were in Phoenix, we all met up together. The three of us dropped the van off. My friend Andy went back to Vale, and I had a travel partner, and we had the most amazing time. And that was my mate Chippy, my mate Chippy, John Harkin, another legend. If you see this, another legend. We went all the way. We started in LA. From LA, we got another drive away to Sacramento, went to San Francisco, up to Seattle, and we drove all the way back through the top of America. And I had the most incredible road trip ever, ever. And it all started as a piss take. But this whole thing about synchronicity, about tuning in, it all aligned at the right time. And so, my Jedi friends, there it is. There is the 1111. So if you have found this video for a reason and you're feeling the synchronicity, it's probably for a reason. And speaking of in synchronicity, my Jedi friends, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do. If you want another video, it's just there.